What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Knights at the Nerd Table present Knights in Shining Armor, a D&D podcast featuring not the good guys, not the guys that you always hear about and the heroes and all their adventures, but instead the villains, the bad guys. And that's as cool as an intro as I've got so far. So I'll take submissions. So want to welcome everyone, maybe new listeners, old listeners. If you're new, you still have time to hop back to big episodes and catch up as to what we're doing. But my name is Nate. I'm joined here at this table by four perfect individuals that can do no wrong.
With the quietest water bottle.
That water bottle is so loud, it literally hurt my ears.
Yes, open a bag of chips too.
Is that bag of chips surrounded by vibranium? What is going on?
And as you can tell, we take this very seriously, and this is 100% full deep dive role play. No breaking character ever whatsoever.
True.
That's actually everything that Andrew just did in the past 5 minutes was very Goffrey.
As I actually Speaking of, why don't we introduce you guys? So let's start with Andrew because you have food in your mouth, and that's why it's funny. I'd love to hear who you are. Introduce your character a little bit, and then maybe say something bad he did at one point in his life.
Hi, my name is Andrew, and I play the character Goffrey. Goffrey's a swashbuckling wannabe pirate, and worst thing he's ever done. Probably showed up at an island and found the king and stole the king's money, and then paid the king the money back and made him the king of the island and took his son.
That's all canon. That's two.
And
that's
Lord in 14 Seas.
Yeah.
That might be
That's the worst thing your character's ever done. Is
I'm ready for that list of names, by the way. If we can get that on the Patreon, the list of the 14 Cs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his main responsibility.
Yeah, that would be a world-building nightmare. Anyways, if we look to the north, we see the Frost Soul Sea moving south. We see the Dual Dawn Seas, and then we go to the Triad area. The Opal Sea, the Violet Sea, and the Sapphire Sea all are in about of a triangle. That's why they're also called the Triad Seas. The South Moon Sea is on the east side of the island, and if you move forward, it's not technically a sea, but it's been given the name the Heaven Strait Sea because it rolls right into an area of lakes known as the Angel's Wings. North of that is the Sun's Eye Sea. Right at the tippy top of our island is the Blue Tide Sea, and that does not represent the 5 forbidden seas not written on any map.
Wow.
I ran out of space on this. Map. That's my cop out. My 5.
Can we also look at the definition of a sea so that way we know we have accurate seas? Because I feel
we don't. This is not accurate at all.
Oh, okay.
It's a very One Piece.
That's specifically Goffrey's map, and he just crossed out all the oceans and just handwrit his own. He's like, yes, I've conquered 14 seas, and we were like, "There's
half of them are ponds."
Seas. Yeah,
exactly.
Primary definition is salt water, like an ocean, but there's the secondary definition is a large lake. So,
or maybe his map is a gridded map used to just help.
It's a gridded map.
Yeah, it's a gritty map with all the gritties on it.
That's awesome.
All right, let's go from where I can see to the right. Which would be Mr. Masonic.
Oh, it's me. I'm Mason, everyone. It's so good to see you. What did you want me to say? You want me to say the same thing?
Introduce yourself, your character, and then also maybe something bad your character did one time or 2 times.
My character's name is Theresias. He is you'll see. But he has done some things in his time. He's taken out a whole village before, as it was their time. Little did they know it was their time because a large meteorite was falling on them, and a little bit too many people survived. And so he, of course, needed to take the rest of the survivors that were supposed to die that day. They put up some resistance because they had all just seen their friends and family burn, but there were no problem to the blood hunter Thereseus. He might have also had something to do with the meteorite, but that can't be here nor there told
He was
or
the
heard.
meteorite. Oh,
Maybe.
terrifying.
Yeah, but I played Theseus. I know nothing about the seas. He's mostly an inland boy. But he's pretty casual. Likes to hunt down people that the Riverman tells him to.
Cool.
The
Love
Riverman. I love that.
So let's go to the third most handsome.
The first, so it's got to be.
Oh, it must be Jared. Dang. That was well played.
I'm devastated right now.
Because of the well play, Ethan, you talk so loud. You're just gonna have to go. You're gonna have to
All
go.
right, as a third most handsome, my name is Ethan Stiefel. I play Varric, who is a rabbit, but he's skinned. He's a Harengon, but he's really just a rabbit who was awakened. And he is sort of a magician, ironically, I guess, because he was a rabbit's magician. And we'll find out more about Varric, but it's kind of like, with great, I coined this, but with great power comes great responsibility, but
I've
in the
heard you
evil
made that up.
sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In the evil sense, no, I didn't make that part up, is what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
In the evil sense, like, he was trapped as a magician's rabbit, so he didn't, it's not like he had a free reign to do all, unlimited power to do all this evil stuff, but he did what he could. So he would sabotage his former master, Gregory,
Classic.
to like loosen the hilts of his knives that he was throwing. Well, yeah, he's an idiot. He tried to go by Margo the Magnificent, but it didn't stick. So he would like loosen the handles on his knives, so when he was throwing them at people, he would miss his aim and hit them. He would catch the audience on fire and make it all look like it was a bumbling magician. So he would do what he could because he does not like people very much. So
That's just mean.
Wow.
Imagine all you want to do is like a good job, and your own pet is sabotaging you.
that's the problem.
We also our friends The Walls Forge recently made a TikTok, and they started drawing your character, and you described him as actually a rabbit, and I didn't truly really see it until they drew it.
100%.
I'm like, no, he's just actually like a sentient rabbit, not like a
just big
Harengon,
fungus.
not just
Yes.
like a humanoid rabbit, but just actually a rabbit.
He's in between. It's like he's in between the race Harengon, because he's actually an awakened rabbit. And
So good.
it's like in between.
So good.
He is truly a rabbit that has been awakened, but he's like essentially plays as a Harengon.
Incredible.
Because when a cool idea comes to a DM should listen to it and figure out how we can make it work and not just say no. There's your D&D tip of the day for the.
That's your yes and.
listeners.
And Varric is a yes and.
Yeah, Varric's the yes and.
So thanks, DM.
Last but not least, the absolute brute of our group, Mr. Jared. Would you introduce yourself?
Hello. I am Jared, aka your grandma's favorite. If you don't believe me, ask your grandma. Glad to be here. Anyways, I play the emo Leonin named Ivar, the three cheers for revenge, listening to Ivar. The most evil thing he has done, or something evil that he has done, and he has never paid his taxes.
Oh, that's right. I've
Pretty
heard.
bad.
No, I'm kidding. The most evil thing he's done, he specializes in hunting heroes. Heroes, anybody who or good doers, whatever that term is, he specializes in hunting them down. Just a little bit of sauce for you, and then he also his sugar daddy might be an evil deity. We'll find out. We'll see. More to come.
Speaking of sauce, everyone take a drink of water and let's get started on this episode. So last time we saw our not heroes but villains, they were kind of getting their bearings as they had just woken up on the prison on the island of Redora. They kind of figured out a few things, started to get settled, figured out that they would maybe had some sort of a working plan in action, and then they were railroaded by the warden, completely putting a wrench into whatever plan they thought they might have had. As it is a prison, you just got to do what you're told. There were 3 of them at the time, and then in the last final moments of our last episode, they were joined by Varric. If you want to figure out how Varric got arrested, you're actually going to have to join the Patreon, listen to the Patreon exclusive episode where we included Patreons in the lore of that seizure. So it was I thought it was fun. It was also a sneak peek into Varric's current legendary actions that most of them cannot perform. More on that in a few moments. So like I said, in those moments, the Grand Warden Conrad had just informed them that they were accelerating the orientation due to some outside circumstances, some outside pressures, perhaps. Maybe we'll find out what they are. Maybe we won't. But for now, gentlemen, let's begin and let's tell a story. We come back to those guards as they are kind of dragging this seemingly lifeless Harangon, and the Grand Warden Conrad kind of says, "Oh, go down to the kitchen and grab something to eat for this this new guest here. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, we want him to be coherent for the orientation, of course, because it just we don't really have enough time to do more than one today, or just drag it out. So, want to get him orientated, and you 3, you can follow me. You guys," and he points to a couple of guards, "run to the kitchen, grab the bunny some food, and I guess just kind of help him along this way. If you guys will please follow me." And the guards don't grab you, they don't push you or shove you, but they do just kind of lead the way, and Grand Warden Conrad starts walking down the hallway outside your cell on that second level. He is heading towards a door at the end of that hallway. And again, if you were to follow him, you would pass several cells. Most of them are opening, or most of them are still open, as it seems like prisoners are starting to pick up on the buzz that an orientation is happening. So it looks like they are starting to get ready for something as well.
Am I unconscious still?
You kind of come to a little bit. You are currently exhausted, so you do have a point of exhaustion, as you have not eaten yet, which we learned last episode is the magical D&D way to immediately alleviate all exhaustion is to simply have a meal. That's canon.
Who called me a bunny?
That would have been Grand Warden Conrad, yes.
Interesting. Carry on.
Okay, so he heads that direction. The 3 of you had just also returned to your cell after breakfast and kind of gotten your bearings and found out that you do have more comfortable clothes waiting for you back in your cell. Who would like? Is there anything that anyone would like to do?
Did you say that was a bunny? I swear it was a fox.
What is with people and not being able to just to say they're a humanoid or a thing instead of just saying what animal they're equated to?
You know, there's totally right. I shouldn't judge people based on their appearance. I don't know their story. I don't know where they've been. I don't know what they've gone through. That's my bad. That's a miss. It's a miss on me. It's not good leadership. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, okay. It's really poor leadership, sir. Really poor leadership.
In this economy, you're gonna start calling people bunnies.
You're all right. You're all right. You're all absolutely correct. That's on me. Well, I'll own that. I'll own that. But
should we come with you then?
Yes. Please follow me right this way, and I would love for you to follow me. Yes, come along. And he begins to briskly walk that.
Is this our orientation?
Yes, absolutely. It is 100%.
And is this where our keys are stored? Right, we have these, right?
Well, to be quite frank,
you have them.
I don't really think you. We could talk about that later. Again, we'll go over a lot of this in orientation. Some might consider it a lore dump. I wouldn't. Consider it that. That's just a ridiculous way to coin it. But
right, most people wouldn't call actual things that are happening in real life a lore dump. But
yeah, it seems like poor leadership.
You don't mind if I take a second to get some clothes on? I find it a little bit insulting that just because I have fur all over my body, that you expect me to just follow you naked.
I'll take the clothes out from under the bed where we got ours and slide it across the floor over to our new rabbit friend.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
Sorry. I apologize. Listen, today has been quite the day. Let me tell you what. If you ever had one of those days, I'm having one of those today. Okay. Somebody, and he like slowly looks at you, Ivar, put the entire kingdom into a whole upside down bit of an issue. So yeah, things are kind of unconventional currently. So I'll give you a few minutes. I'll be down at the end of the hall. Just come join me when you're ready, and I'll be more than happy to show you to your seats.
Reverend Corey, do we need anything special?
You need to bring out pencils to your lecture.
That is a good question.
Do I need to change into these new clothes?
I'll tell you what you need to bring. An open mind and a full heart. Yep. You bring those two things, you'll be right as rain. Yep.
Now that is some basic leadership. Thank you, sire.
You hit the nail right on the head, actually, with that one. Okay, so let's move on. And he just waits for you at the end of the hall.
I'm gonna turn. Friend, what is your name? You've just joined us here, and I guess someone's going to get you food.
Yeah, the name's Varric. And you three are?
I'm Theresius. These two can introduce themselves if they're so inclined.
All my friends, they call me Goffrey.
Nice to meet you. And you
I'm
big fella.
Ivar. You can call me Ivar.
Righto. Nice to meet you.
They don't take too kindly to fur-covered folk here.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Well, maybe we have to do something about that, eh?
All right.
I personally don't see fur. I just see you. For what it's worth. I'm not like Reverend Corky or whatever that guy is. Just so we're saying, just so we're clear.
I can tell you're different. Thank you.
Okay, so we need to get on our way. There's not much we can do here to get you up to speed. The prison has locked our abilities and magical connections away with these things. So ideally, we were told that the keys to unlock these aren't going to be removed from the island until our orientation. So this might be our only time to be able to retrieve those. So if you would like to, since it seems like you're coming to orientation too, we're going to solve that issue.
Interesting. Is there anybody around us, DM? Like, I know we're following them, but are we enough away that we can like talk without being heard?
We're still in our cell, right?
You can make you are still in your cell. You can make a perception check with disadvantage.
Does all of us have disadvantage, or
just him because he's still exhausted.
He's still hungry.
Can Ivar make a perception check just to see if the warden's... What's the warden's name one more time, by the way?
Grand Warden Conrad.
Got an 8.
With an 8, from what you can tell, no one is listening in.
Okay. I got a 13.
A 13, I would say a little better. It also just kind of feels like everyone seems to be getting ready for something. No one seems to be interested quite in the new guys quite yet.
So I would like to sleight of hand this, if this is possible. And with my class, I can like we've talked about this a little bit. I can summon my sword to me out of thin air, and I want to just summon the hilt, just if that's possible without anybody noticing, whether it's kind of like I turn my back to them and summon the hilt. Then there's a bit of role playing I'll do after that, but I know because it's magic, it'll hurt, but I would like to RP, or I would like to roll sleight of hand, or to be able to do that. Like,
I would say roll stealth to do that without anyone noticing.
Okay.
And then we'll get to how bad that might hurt here in a second.
16.
Okay, so you can kind of you're a big guy, and especially as you're not really summoning the entire sword or trying not to, wave it around. You can do that with most nobody really noticing, especially not outside the cell. I'll say if you guys want to in character make perception checks against that,
I want them to see it. I want
you want them
to
to
see it. Yeah.
That's fine. So go ahead and roll 4d10 for me.
Oh, sweet Jeebus. All right. That is. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. 21.
All right. I'm assuming that hurt.
Yeah, it did.
All right. So more on that later. But you can continue to role play that out.
So I will kind of.
I see this, and you just take a bunch of pain.
Yeah, you see him kind of go, and like kind of grit his teeth, but he from just kind of like from the chest area because he's got his back towards him. He pulls what it seems to be out of this ethereal pocket with black smoke coming out of it, the hilt of a sword, and he says, "Oh, if things go sideways, we can cut our way out."
Jeez, man. Hey, listen, take it easy. Like it hurt. Hey,
So just
You drew that out just to put it back in.
I'm just showing you.
Okay,
My intelligence modifier isn't very high.
understood.
hey, maybe I'm sure you guys got a really cool stories about how you got in here. You real rough and tough guys. I get in here, get us out. All right. So I got one question now. We can talk the rest later. Any of you guys got a tattoo on your chest? Anyone? Just magic swords ripping your holes in you?
I just have this mark on my arm.
What? That's a very interesting question. Do we have a tattoo on our chest?
Yeah. I need it.
Why?
Well, we can explain. I really don't want to make. I want to make sure this goes off the right way, but I'll help you guys get out if you do one thing for me. There are these two guys. They call themselves the Shield Bros. Stupid name, I know. Ilmarinen and Naren, right? If we get out of here and you ever see those two, you promise me you kill them, and I'll get you out of here. How's that sound?
Why?
What were their names? Omarion and Naren?
Yeah, close enough. They have this dumbest name. They call themselves the Shield Bros. So if you hear them, these two fancy heroes, listen.
You say heroes, and Ivar's ear twitches.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
that's all I need.
I don't want to rush you. I know you're all getting acquainted, but a lot of people work really hard. Okay, they just put a lot of time and effort into making this orientation happen. And I just ask respectfully that you respect the time that they put in, to make this happen, and we could get things underway. So
Great leadership, Warren. I was trying to push us this way.
Our bad, Warren Corbin. Our bad. We're coming.
Sorry, I was showing them a cool finger trick I can do, and he does this whole removing his thumb thing.
I'll turn to Varen.
As
performance
a
check.
professional magician, that is really impressive. Good work there.
Thank you. I try really hard.
I demand a performance check.
I would love to give you a performance check. Okay. Ooh. Wow. Okay. Never mind. That's a 16 again.
Grand Warden Conrad puts his hand on his sword and says, "Such deep magic shouldn't be allowed in here. We'll have to address your level of restraints later. But for now, let's continue on. I don't feel an immediate threat." So,
And then he puts his hands behind his back, and then his thumbs back.
sweet trickery is this? All right, let's go.
Wow,
Let's move
crazy
on.
magic.
Carry on.
I'll look at Varric.
This guy's freaking
Give him a nod. and then turn and walk out of the cell.
A follow.
We're all going.
Yeah, sure.
So you kind of follow him toward the end of this level, and this just opens a door. As he opens the door, a guard kind of stands there and holds the door open for you, and he continues forward. You walk down a long hallway with no doors or windows, and at the end you see a wall with the option to go left or right. A sign at the end has an arrow pointing to in each direction, and to the left it reads guests and new arrivals. To the right, it reads employees and VIPs. He beckons you to follow the path to the right, employees and VIPs. Right this way. You, today, the four of you, you're very important people. I want you to remember that. You are important. I believe in you. And I think you're great. Okay. I think you can do it. I believe
I roll an insight check of him taking us down the other pathway, not the pathway of the new. Like, why would he want us to go down that way? I do an insight check on him.
Go ahead.
Is this gentle parenting? Seems a little weird to me.
Insight. Oh, +0. Well, I got a 19, so 19.
You can tell that this man genuinely believes in you, and I think he actually cares about you.
I've had enough dilly-dallying. I'm gonna follow after the man.
Right this way.
Okay.
As you turn the corner down that short hallway on the right, it almost immediately turns back to the left and opens up to a large room with several ascending rows of chairs, all facing the same direction. They point towards a large stage with a giant red curtain that is currently drawn shut. An usher beckons you to follow him as he points to you to enter a VIP box booth section with a fantastic view, a side view of the stage.
Lead on, Macduff.
Yes, sir. Right this way. And he beckons you up. As you can see, he enters a private booth. There's about 6 seats in there, 2 rows of 3. You guys are more than welcome to sit wherever you like. The usher quickly says, kind of turns back to you. Can I get anybody anything? We do have some, took a guess, have some fresh vegetables on their way for you, Mr. And he points at you. Varric, yes, you, Mr. Varric, we do have some fresh vegetables on the way if that is your preference. If you would like something else, just let us know. Would anyone else like anything to drink?
Do you have a liter of blood?
Unfortunately, blood has been forbidden. If you would like water or a non-alcoholic refreshment, I can provide. All right. Okay.
Ivar leans down a good. How tall would you say this guy? This
guy
usher is.
He's got a good job. He's 6'1".
He leans down about 2 feet next to his ear and goes, "Between you and me, do you have any milk?"
Right. We'll get that. Right. We'll put that order in right away.
Thank you. And I lean back. I stand back up.
I'll just have some water and fresh veggies too, like my friend here.
All right. I will bring those right back, and he walks off to this sort of back behind the curtain. Right at that moment,
I'm not getting my milk, am I?
Right at that moment, the lights dim, and a single spotlight enters center stage, and Grand Warden Conrad appears. Good morning, recruits, new and old. If I haven't properly done so, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am the Grand Warden Conrad, and I am in charge around here, as they say. I'm going to walk you through a few basic need-to-know type of stuff, but firstly, allow me to once again apologize for my abruptness to do these orientations. I know this wasn't normally on the schedule today, but we've had several things happen in the past 24 hours, even 36 hours, that have led to an acceleration of a few things we have on today's schedule. So, are there any questions? Good. Okay. So without further ado, I present to you orientation. And he walks off stage, and the curtain pulls back. 3 individuals who look rough and tough enter. There's one with who's not wearing a shirt. He's a scrawny looking fellow, and he walks out to center stage, and he has 2 drumsticks, and a snare drum sits in front of him, and he begins to rattle a little ditty. As he continues that, a second person enters with a large bassy lyre, and he sets it up and begins to run a bass line off of that. And a third person enters and steps up to what appears to be a large booming object that allows his voice to project very similar to the way Conrad does. And as he begins to play his lyre in unison with these two, he begins to sing a song. Where are you? You're on the island of Redora. You're sentenced here because of some great crime, like a murder or some murders. Or maybe Grand Theft Sailboat. Either way, you're a big bad evil guy. A big bad evil guy. The band continues to play, and the music continues to swell, and in unison, they all sing together. Don't waste your time on me trying to leave. You know you can't escape. I wish you won't waste your time trying to leave. You know instead you should rehabilitate. I wish you. They continue a second verse that's similar and a third verse, and as you can see, the crowd sings along with them. It appears to be a fan favorite of them, and as they continue their song over about 3.5 minutes, it does come to an end, and rounding applause is greeted their exit, and Grand Warden Conrad steps out and says, "Yes, you have arrived to the island of Redora. Some may call it a prison, but we can call it an opportunity. You see, you're here because, quite frankly, you have done some very, very bad things. But our king, may he rest in peace." In a moment of silence and somber fills the room. Believed that no creature was beyond hope for redemption, and so he's founded this rehabilitation program in hopes that in hopes that folks like you would have a chance to make up for the wrong you have done. Because of that, you will find your time here quite comfortable. The kitchen is filled with enchanted items and allow us to get any food you desire, and there are plenty of constructive activities you can participate in that help you grow both as an individual and as a team. You will find most of your activities will be done with your roommates, thus creating a bond with each other that should inspire you to grow more and more every day. Now, for our next act, I am pleased to welcome the fabulous comedic duo of Gruglug and Snippy. The piece is entitled, "Where's My Stuff?" And he walks across and the crowd goes wild. Entering from stage left, you see Gruglug. He's dressed in a nice suit with a tie and a nice old-timey cap. From the other side, Snippy enters a little slower, as if you remember, he's the old man that seemed to know a little bit about everything that's going on in here, and he's also well dressed. Snippy approaches Gruglug. Gruglug seems to be holding some sort of bag, and Snippy says, "Hey, that stuff you got there." And Gruglug responds, "This stuff belongs to who?" "Well, that's what I want to know." "Right. That's what you said, but this is whose stuff?" Snippy responds, "Who?" Gruglug, "No, whose?" Snippy, "I don't know whose." Gruglug, "Oh, he's great." "Who is?" "No, whose." "Who is great?" "Correct." "But what's that stuff?" "This is whose stuff." "Well, I don't know. That's why I asked you." "Who's got it taken away from him when he arrived here at Redora?" "Who did?" "No, who didn't. Whose did." "Oh, so who's got his stuff taken when who's arrived? But where did who go?" "Who?" "Yeah, who?" "Oh, who got rehabilitated, then he got his stuff back." "Oh, he did? Good for him. Where did he go?" "No, where didn't go. Where is here." "Here is here." "Yes." "Here is here too." "Here, where, and who. They're all great guys." And the two of them in unison say, "Here, here." And the crowd begins to clap once again. They take a bow and exit the stage. Returning Grand Warden Conrad says, "Now, let's get down to the good stuff. I'm sure you've noticed your personal belongings are missing, and they have been confiscated, and they are held in our front office. Your items have been inspected by our on-call mages, and they have begun to remove any curses from any cursed items. They typically replace them with charms or enchantments of similar strength, but seek to cleanse them from the evil that they might naturally do on their own. You will get the items returned to you if you desire, should you be successfully rehabilitated and join the ranks of your fellow soldiers on the front lines in the battle against our many foes. We'll take a moment of recess, and then get right back to what I'm excited for. I think we all know the interpretive dance moves of Toralug and Kevin. We'll be right back." And he exits the stage. The usher returns with a bowl of milk and a plate of 2 plates of vegetables and hands them to as such. How are you guys enjoying orientation so far?
Did they do a commercial break for a stage show?
Yes, there's a lot of moving parts and pieces. It takes a lot to turn over the different acts, Also, we want to make sure our guests have time to refresh themselves.
Could you just end us now rather than us needing to sit through the second half of this?
Oh, this is where it really things really start to pick up and get good. I would just buckle up. I think you're really gonna enjoy the next parts.
Did you guys hear that the king died? I didn't know that. That's crazy.
How did the servant do? Do you happen to know how the king died?
Yep. And he looks at Ivar. Yep.
No!
What can I say? Some of my best work.
Right. That is crazy.
No.
I was reported that his clock was running down on time, so I was wondering who did that.
Yeah, I punched his clock for the last time.
There are some baddies in here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, some would consider that, a heinous war crime. He was a very good king, literally made a place like this, so people like you would have a chance at redemption, but...
Yeah, that's great, but I'm impressed.
What was a war crime was allowing those 2 guys on stage to do what they just did.
Agreed.
I could have gone my whole 9 lives without seeing that.
Now, what I'll say this right here. I've done some bad things and things that I feel like took a lot of guts. And being up on stage, you got to be pretty brave. So all I got to say is let the artists have a little bit of a break. It's not easy being up there. I'll tell you that.
So could you tell me your name first of all?
My name?
Yep.
My name is Charles.
Charles, how would one find the front office?
The front office would be just off the main gate.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, at this time, I don't think it's wise for me to tell you how to get there. We're just still getting to know each other. I'm not sure where you're gonna land as far as trust goes and responsibilities. So
I just need you for just a moment. Remember the me finding my own blood conversation, and then just tell me if it's closer or further from the visitor area.
roll intimidation.
It's going to be a solid 11.
He kind of looks at you and he says, "I have been threatened with worse, and I have been dealt worse.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to decline. I can get you water. I can get you a snack, and whatever you would like. But unfortunately, I'm not going to disclose that information at this time."
I need you then to report to the people who are disenchanting curses to be vigilant when trying to touch my sword.
Oh yes, I can assure you. There's some of the best in the business. Don't you worry about that. Honestly, you guys are new arrivals, and there is a pretty big backlog. So, I'm going to guess. I will tell you this from what I'm going to guess. It'll take quite a bit. It'll take a hot second to get to what you guys your stuff. But we had to downsize recently. Some majors got pulled from here to the capital. So, kind of between you and me, we are hiring. So,
Are you part of technically like the government that like he killed the king of?
Well, I mean, we are a
'Cause
correctional facility of, of the kingdom. Legacy is a very large portion of the island, and our good king, may he rest in peace, again, glares at Ivar, really made it a priority to
From that heights pieces, but yeah.
You know what? Why don't you guys just enjoy the show? And he walks away.
Thank you, Charles. Oh, you took forever to say one sentence. I'm actually glad to get back to the show.
What I'll say is this: if I was a tax-paying individual, which I'm not, that I would not let that guy talk to me because I'm paying his salary.
And he takes forever. He is milking his time.
I will lean over to Goffrey and say, "Do you notice the sign say guests, not inmates?"
I did. I'm just confused. I don't know if I've ever killed anyone purposefully, yet I'm here with the three of you. So I'm just processing lately.
The song also said something about stealing a ship.
I don't recall. I just know
Stealing is a harsh word.
I believe.
borrowed
Can
it.
I insight check to see if he's actually never killed somebody? on purpose?
Long-term borrowing.
There it is.
Sure. I go ahead and roll insight.
I rolled a 14.
He's paying a subscription to borrow it.
I'm sorry, I didn't add anything to it. That was plus 0 to perception. Insight is. Oh, that's plus 0.
I gotta be honest with you. Do you think? Here's what I'll ask. Does Goffrey think he's ever stolen or killing anyone before?
No, he doesn't believe that he's ever
Oh,
anything he's done. There's always been a purpose to it.
he's just disassociating every single thing he's ever done.
So it's like if the Joker wants to light things on fire to watch the world burn, Goffrey would light things on fire and swear it wasn't him. But like, man, that's crazy. I wonder who did that.
He just believes his own lie.
If people have died, it was just part of the process.
Mhm.
So
I like it.
Wow.
Goffrey's a pathological everything.
He's a
Red
pathological
flag.
psychopath.
He is the red flag, ladies. Goffrey ain't him. Unless you're Trixie. Okay, moving on. The house lights dim again. The curtain is pulled back. You see Torlug and an individual you've never seen before enter the stage. The two of them begin to move as a soft song starts to play. They move about together, spinning and twirling. Torlug suddenly moves his arms in a way that one might if he were to cast a spell, and Kevin appears to flutter toward him rapidly, trying to stop him. Torlug quite overdramatically doubles over, acting in pain as he falls to the ground, and Kevin looks at his arm to review a giant prop keyhole secured to his arm. As the music slowly dies down and a sad somber of the strings begins to play, Torlug lays motionless on the ground. Kevin begins to weep as he does, the curtain closes. Grand Warden Conrad reappears. You will notice a new addition to any scars or tattoos you might already possess. On your forearm, we have sealed away the things that make your evil deeds especially powerful. Should you try to use magic or other abilities legendary in nature, you instead will be met with a painful attack on your body. I wish this was not the case, but we have found this method to be effective. Any questions? Okay, good. Moving on. And you, as individuals, understand that to be legendary actions, as your legendary actions and magical skills and abilities that would require casting or moving or summoning are all associated to that scar. Finally, getting ready to close the show, spotlight opens up on Chef Dixie as she walks out. A haiku. Jobs are given out. You cannot select your job. Your heart decides it. And she bows and walks away. A standing ovation from Goffrey, I'm assuming. Finally, Grand Warden Conrad. There are several things you can do to keep busy around here, including working and the few job opportunities we have. Should you be found capable of those jobs, you will earn a wage while you are here. for you to collect upon your departure after you have been rehabilitated. As we bring our time to a close, and we are finished here, you will now proceed to go meet, and he kind of looks up directly at your booth. You will now proceed to meet with Dr. Blewett. He will assess your demeanor and decide what jobs you might be fit for, or even at this time, if you're incapable or capable of being placed in general population at all. For the final matter at hand, I'm sure you're all thinking the same thing. How will you escape? The simple answer is you can't. Everything from the shackles you may wear from time to time to the armor and weapons our guards possess. Even the bars you hold that hold you in your room are all made from a metal gifted to us by the gods themselves. This metal is called Trathil. This metal can't be cut, worn down, or pierced. No magic can manipulate it or bend it. Its very existence secures its indestructibility. This metal is in places you might expect as well as places you might not even imagine. It is the key factor to your security here at Redora. Now, our VIP guests, you will go forward and meet with Dr. Blewett. Everyone else may return to their daily duties. We will have another impromptu meeting this afternoon where I will address some very concerning and abrupt changes happening in the leadership of Redora. Thank you, and have a good afternoon. And Charles comes back to the VIP room. If you four will follow me right this way, we've got your appointments with Dr. Blewett right straight away. And then after that, you'll probably be free to return to your cells. Oh, sorry, rooms.
Hey, Charlie. What's it mean to be a VIP here?
You're just, at this point, you VIP or a very important person. It just means that you would sit here. This also is the quickest access from, we want to make sure you have a good seating and view of the performance of orientation so you can clearly understand all the rules and procedures that are happening over that time. Do you have any questions about anything you heard? I'm honestly not really the one to answer them. Dr. Blewett actually should be thoroughly equipped to be able to handle this.
No, thank you. Actually, the less we talk to you, I actually would enjoy. So lead us on.
I feel the same. Right this way, and he ushers you all down another little hallway that kind of continues on. And honestly, it just looks, you get to the end, and you just see a waiting room, a little square room with several seats. There is a door. On the door is a sign that says, Dr. Blewett, PhD. Charles walks up and knocks on the door, and seemingly Dr. Blewett opens it. He is a skinny, slender man. He is a half-elf. He's got short, curly, white hair that's kind of matted, and he wears a nice jacket and pants that don't match. His tie is striped and also seems to clash with the other items in his wardrobe. The vest that he wears is a deep blue that clashes with the red sports coat, and his shoes are a very, very scuffed and worn down leather brown. He says, all right. Okay. I do believe that this will be quite conducive. Yes, this will be a wonderful time. My name is Dr. Blewett. I will be assessing you today to just kind of get to know you. You know, that's kind of me. That's my vibe. You know, I just want to get to know you. We can talk. We can learn a little bit about each other. And your appointments are scheduled for right now, actually. He flips open a clipboard. Yes. Let's start with Goffrey. Who's Goffrey? Knights in Shining Armor is a podcast brought to you by the nerds at the Nerd Table. It would not be possible without the support of you, the listener. We want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Ben Vipon, Colin McMeekin, and now James Stiefel. Hey, that list is growing, but for now, these few brave souls get early access to our episodes as well as access to exclusive content available only on Patreon. You could be called upon to collaborate with us for a canon episode by heading on over to our Patreon page and subscribing at any tier. When you do that, you also get access to our Discord, which has tons of other fun things like Pokemon Go tournaments, TCG fun, and it's a great place to find others who might be playing the same games as you. Special even more thanks to our friends over at Dwal's Forge for starting a new character illustration. If you want to know what Varric might look like, or you want to kind of put an image to his voice, head over to their Instagram page or follow them and find them at Dwal's Forge on TikTok and Instagram, and they did an awesome illustration. We're super pumped about it. And in case you didn't notice, a little bit of a change to our music this month was brought to you by our friends known as the Whimsical Sprites, fellow nerds who stream, create vintage gamer content, and yep, you guessed it, make sick beats. You can catch them at twitch.com or find them on their social media platforms, including Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode coming next month. Until then, you can find us everywhere else, including, but not limited to, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, formerly known as Twitter, and of course, patreon.com/TKNT. We can't wait to see you at the table next time, but until then, good night, nerds.